All right, let's talk about the Ashely Biden stolen diary and the plea deal from the individuals that stole it in the involvement with Project Veritas. Now, up front, those of you who watch me regularly know that I have a weak relationship with Project Veritas. My wife used to be an employee. I have met James. I know what my assessment of his character is, and one thing I believe that God has blessed me with is an assessment to be able to judge people's spirit, not necessarily their character. That's kind of a different thing, but their spirit, where they lay and what they are searching for, and who they really are, and how they see the world, and how they project that, right? And James is, by all accounts, from everyone who's been around him, and from my experiences, and also from the training that they put into Veritas, the ethos that they put into the company, a very truthful, honest person. And you might say, well, but Bill, he deceives people in order to get news. Yes. But he has a ethical imperative in that, in trying to expose larger, more important corruption and lies. So we have to start from that premise. We have to start from that James O'Keefe does not try to do things unethically, and anything that may seem to be unethical, he is doing with a purpose, because there is a greater, much greater harm and evil that is being done if these things of evil are not exposed, right? And recently, I think it was the Daily Beast put out an article from a former employee of them. Now, my wife worked with this employee. They were actually hired after she was hired. She told me some things about the individual. I can tell you the person sounds like they're quite incompetent. In fact, she told me about something that she did highly inappropriate and highly unethical for personal gain, or perhaps for her husband's personal gain, and while working for Veritas. So she created this whole story in the Daily Beast about Project Veritas having a whole orgy parties and sex parties and all this other stuff. Now, I know people, again, who work for the company. It just seems really absurd. It seems really absurd. But in any case, the DOJ is trying to silence them. And the way they're going to go about this is by taking those two individuals who pleaded guilty to conspiring to steal Ashely Biden's diary and sell it to Project Veritas for $40,000, that somehow Project Veritas encouraged them to do such a thing, which is quite absurd on its face. Now, we could see what shakes out in court, but I'm telling you right now, they're not going to find anything in discovery. It's just not going to happen. That's not, unless I am completely off about who James O'Keefe is and what Project Veritas is, which I don't believe that I am. And the reason why they're not going to find anything is because there's nothing there. And what the government will still try to do, no matter what, is get a DC jury, or maybe a New York one, I don't know, wherever they're going to try this at. They're going to get a biased jury to try and side with them regardless of the evidence. That somehow James and Project Veritas pushed these people into doing a thing, which I don't believe happened. These people probably came to them, and there was probably some negotiation, and then once the diary was acquired, they sat on it because they didn't feel it was appropriate for them or a proper story. That's how ethical they are. They didn't feel it was a proper story to be released, and then it came out later through other venues. But what happened? Well, then the FBI raided them, right? And again, this goes back to the Gavin McInnes thing. It goes back to, of course, the Mar-a-Lago thing, and it goes back to you being at your school board, being called a terrorist for opposing what the government is doing, who's supposed to embody the people, not their own agendas. We don't live under a monarchy. We're not supposed to live under an elite class. We're supposed to live by the people. But this is what happens when you reject federalism, you reject localism, and you allow everything to be pushed up. You pushed up above you in a superstructure, and then you forget your responsibility as the last man, and you become pathetic and weak, addicted to things like pornography, pleasure, and technology, to instant gratification. This is what happens. And the tyranny that is about to unfold in this land, if not stopped, is going to be mind-numbing, because we are in the beginning processes of a Bolshevik-style revolution. And this isn't just the United States that's being concerned here. It is the entire globe. The whole world is up in arms right now. But the United States specifically is in a very dangerous spot, because we are a bastion of liberty to the world. And though we have given up much of that liberty over the last 100 years, there's still a chance to grab it back. At least I believe so. But perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it is utterly too late. With all that, folks, this has been All Minus One. My name is Bill, and I wish you all well.